So, guys, how did we find this program? I mean, we talked about your piece first of all.
Yeah.
Your composition, and then we decided we'll play together. We do a trio, but then how did we come up with the other pieces that we performed?
Well, I think all of our pieces have a reference to another art form. So obviously, starting with my piece, I wrote this as a reflection and reaction to Daryl Tye's painting homage to Edmundo, which is a really fantastic painting. It has a lot of beautiful brushwork, and it's a very explosive work.
And your piece is also so explosive and
it
so
is very explosive.
Detailed.
Yeah, and it's very colorful as well, this painting.
Yeah.
And it is an homage. And so in my work, I was in a way kind of homaging to the French Impressionists, who were very well known to, write pieces based off of atmosphere, and they were much more visual kind of composers.
Yeah.
And so I very much drew my inspiration from, for instance, like Debussy or Freies or Ravel, these guys, but of course in my own language and my own rhythmic and harmonic language. And so starting with that piece, I think we were discussing about finding just a good way, first of all, to have the three of us to have a more diverse program.
Yeah.
So we decided to ask Simon, and thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Simon.
And so we definitely wanted to do a trio and with different kind of formations, right? So this duo, and then
the duo, yeah.
The duo between you two.
Cello.
And I thought it was really interesting that all of our pieces, I don't know if we were really thinking about it, but all of our pieces have references to other art forms. So for instance, like with Beethoven, the Gassenhauer trio, obviously the references to Josef Wiegel's opera in the last movement, where it comes from an aria. And with Kadai, it draws a lot of inspiration from Hungarian folk art, right? So like Hungarian folk music as well. And then
Schumann.
with Schumann, it's very much with literature. And
poetry.
Fantasiestucke is almost like it's a work that is very reminiscent of how poetry would be written. They're not very long. Each movement is not very long. And the form is very free. And so I think in that way, it draws a lot of influence from literature. So all of the works in our program draw influences from other kinds of artwork. And what's really interesting to see is that from Beethoven's time to today, and how composers see other art forms and how we react to that and transform it into our own language, which is music, to an audience. So I think that's just the thing
that unites the program.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Speaking about Schumann, I remember now that you said about poetry and about literature. I remember that when we were rehearsing it, when we were working on it, we're actually thinking what kind of words would we use to sort of emphasize the melody? Where is the inspiration from? And maybe you can tell us a bit like about your history with the work. I mean, this is the cello piano work, especially of Schumann.
Sure.
Maybe you can say a couple of words about that.
Yes, basically it's a piece that you like to play when you're small and you like to try it out because it's so fantastically beautiful. But I think it's important also to take it with you when you get older, because in my case I started seeing more deeply maybe what the piece is all about, and surely it draws from poetry, literature, but I think most importantly it draws from life experience. And I think I used to look at the pieces a little bit as one by one and this is happening here and there, but I think I now feel a little bit the connection between the three, that you have sort of with the first one you have this expression of grief and just really depressing sadness a bit, and little hope actually, and then you kind of at the end of it you kind of fall into you're just asleep because you're tired, and it's fine. And the second for me is like searching for something, and there's a lot of doubt. You don't know whether the way that you decide to go now is the proper one. And it's very, very exciting, and you look here and there. And I think then the third one is like finally finding your strength, like your pride.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow it's like, I am Robert Schumann, and I can be proud of it.
Yeah.
So, and it was then really interesting to see for me how he incorporated like small elements, the motifs of the first two pieces into the third one. It's like it appears, and it's like a little nostalgia ping.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then in the next second, it's like, but I'm in a different place now, so it doesn't matter so much, and we go on.
Yeah.
And that's really, really nice for me to see that, because it also shows you that if he can do it, then you also, it's like universal message.
Mm.
You know, I was actually wanted to ask you a question. You were speaking about all of these motives that come again. Of course, we have in the film with the Gassenhauer, we have a theme and variations, of course, motives that repeat and so on. If you would have to write a Gassenhauer trio or whatever, a Gassenhauer piece nowadays, Gassenhauer meaning write a piece that sort of music that is sung on the street, sing on the street, right, or something like that.
Yes,
yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, if you would have to write that nowadays, what tune would you pick?
Well,
would it be pop music?
Probably, because I feel like that's what people are singing.
Yeah, that's on the streets, right?
Yeah. Probably movie scores as well, like when Star Wars comes out, well, when Star Wars came out, actually, you hear lots of people like singing the Star Wars theme. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like pop culture, right? I mean, the Gassenhauer trio is kind of like a reference to all during Beethoven's time, the popular tunes that were being hummed everywhere, and everyone knew them, right? Yeah. And so as
you were saying, the birthday tune, the birthday.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
So I would say, if I were to write for some occasion, I would have to write a Gassenhauer trio. I think it would be full of pop tunes. But of course, it wouldn't be just like a simple rendition of it. It would just be kind of a fun way to see how classical music can intertwine with the pop, the pop world. So I mean, if you're thinking about actual tunes, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
would you include Harry Potter, please? I mean, I love it.
I mean, why not?
Yes,
yeah.
please. Okay,
I mean, why not?
We have a plan.
Right?
I think next time.
Like da 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 da, yeah.
Okay.
And then writing variations off of that. Yeah.
For example.
Would we play it? I think I would play it.
You would?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
If you include Harry Potter.
Well, I love Harry Potter. I used to spend a lot of time in LA, and there's a huge tradition of like movie, set recording, and people said that Harry Potter was one of the most difficult scores to play.
Oh yeah,
it's like
it's like
exactly. Yeah. So I mean it's singable, but I think John Williams is in some ways such a genius in that he can make a very simple tune, make it so much richer and have so many more dimensions. And so the actual detail work that goes into recording the Harry Potter score is actually so intense. So if I were to write a set of variations based off of Harry Potter, I'm not quite sure if it's going to be like that easy.
Yeah. Well, with that in mind, I think we already have a project for the future.
Yeah.
I thank you both for coming and playing.
Thank you.
And I thank you for watching us, and don't miss the concert on Friday. Good music. Thank you.